Hey, everyone. Okay, I'm recording this week's content a week early because next week I'm going to be in Florida in a big mansion on a private island for my sister's wedding. Yes, I know. I'm excited. So we're taking all the kids. We're going to stay in Florida for a week on the beach. So I will not be tuning in on our Hangout and wanted to have it ready for you. So I'm pre-recording this early. So this week's topic is using programs to develop people. Okay, so I love this concept. I love the whole thought process behind it because I'm going to talk through programs you're familiar with, you guys, but it's more the thought process that I think is valuable here, is that we're using the programs in our business to develop people. I am quickly browsing through our resources, making sure I have everything. Yes. Okay, good. So let's talk about this simple yet profound concept of leadership in Mary Kay, that we use these programs and promotions in our unit to develop our people into the highest and best versions of themselves. Okay. So notice I didn't say to develop leaders. I said people. Because it's not just the leaders and the Ready Right Now consultants that we develop. We develop all people in our unit. We want all of our consultants to be better just for being in our unit, just for walking through the door of our organization. And we use these programs and promotions to develop them and create an environment where they're always becoming a better version of themselves. And they're becoming that because of what we are providing in that environment. And we can do that through our programs and our promotions. Okay, so there's a far broader perspective we can take on when we think about our Power Program and our Star Consultant Program and our Have a Court Month and our Century Clubs and our Consistency Clubs and all the things that we do. Yes, we do them to increase sales and to increase recruiting and to create growth. Like yes, and yes. That is a purpose of the programs and promotions that we do. But there's an even deeper, more far-reaching purpose. And it's for the ultimate betterment and success of every single person, not just the Ready Right Nows, not just the leaders, but every single person who walks through the doors of your organization. You want her to be better for just being in your unit, even if she doesn't do that much with her business. You want her to be better for just being a part of what you are leading the way with. Okay, so that's the big, broad, big vision behind our programs. And I wanted to go there before I get into the nitty-gritty strategy for increasing productivity with our programs. Because it's important to have that vision. And it gives such a deep meaning and purpose to what we do, doesn't it? Okay, so we're not just trying to build stars in our unit. We're developing women into the higher and better version of themselves through the avenues of these programs and the skills that women learn through these programs. Okay, we can't lose sight of that bigger picture and that why behind it. Okay, remember when the why is really clear and the what is clear, the how figures itself out, and it's that powerful why that drives everything. Okay, so wouldn't you agree that even the hobby level consultants in your unit who never become red jackets, who never are going to become directors, wouldn't you agree they still greatly benefit from the personal development that naturally unfolds when a woman is exposed to the Mary Kay culture? You know, isn't that true? That we give all women a gift, even if they're not going to rise to the top in this business. She's going to develop her people skills. She's going to develop her communication skills. She's going to develop her money management skills, her emotional management skills. She's going to learn to be more positive because she's exposed to a positive culture. Her image is going to improve, you guys. And that improves so many things around us when our image improves because our confidence improves. She's going to be exposed to new ideas, new ways of thinking, bigger thinking. You know what? You're going to remember her birthday. She's going to be loved and affirmed and supported by you. And women don't leave that environment. You guys, they don't. You're going to pray for her. She's going to go to career conference and hear from all these other top leaders in the company. I mean, her whole life should improve just for being in your unit and in our Mary Kay culture. That's really the ultimate purpose of what we do. And her being a part of this and engaged in all of these things is part of how we close the back door. And all of our people can experience these. Even the hobby level personal use consultants can still experience growth and development and becoming a higher and better version of themselves when they're a part of your team. Okay? So that's the big picture. Now let's get to some of the nitty-gritty details of how to execute and create these programs and create these promotions to increase growth and productivity. Okay? So we're gonna do a little strategy session together. Are you excited? Hey, bud. Why don't you get a snack first?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go through some best practice ideas and common pitfalls when it comes to this area. Best practice is you want to allow a lot of people to win, big and small. We always want to have different levels for people to win. And you want to create places to win for really 3 different groups in your unit. Okay, you always have 3 different groups. You've got your key people. So this is easy. These people are plugged into your programs and systems and your promotions. Plus, these are the people you're coaching one-on-one. So it's the analogy of most of your unit has a gym membership and they're going to go here and there when they want to. But your key people, they have the membership to the gym, but they also have personal training with you. So they're plugged into all your systems, but the additional benefit is that there's one-on-one coaching with you happening. And that's just with the key people. We don't coach all people in our unit. We don't have a coaching relationship with all of them. That would not be normal. It would not be necessary. We coach people when they have a big challenge or a big goal they want to hit. Okay? And Ian, first of all, is all your reading homework done?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the people, okay, good. These are the people moving into red and further into leadership, moving up the career path. And it's going to be the minority of your unit, yet usually producing the majority of your results. Okay, it's usually a small group producing the majority of the growth that you're seeing in your unit. Okay, so then the second group, these are your middle people or your hobby level people or the masses or the little people or your base unit, whatever you call these people. These are the people just kind of hanging out. They're just dabbling in Mary Kay. They're just, kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, playing with it when it's convenient, but not inconveniencing themselves to really work or grow their business. And let me tell you, these people are amazing. They're amazing. And I think we have an opportunity as leaders to love these people more where they're at. And I think a common pitfall with these people is to constantly convince these people to be key people when they don't want to be key people. They just want to be middle people. And if they just want to be middle people, let's just love them where they're at and let them be middle people. Now, yes, is it appropriate to maybe stretch her vision and maybe challenge her, maybe cast the vision of leadership or cast the vision of something more out of her business? Is that appropriate from time to time? Absolutely. Okay, it's absolutely appropriate to cast and stretch vision. But to remember to love them where they're at too, and build trust and help her to know that you're okay with where she's at. And you're not like disappointed in her because she's not a bigger player in your unit. You don't want people to feel that burden of like, yeah, I'm not one of the key people, so she's disappointed in me. Okay, let's not make our people feel that way. Let's just love them where they're at. And these middle people usually make up the majority of your unit. And these people are amazing. And over the years, they produce a lot of growth. And they are loyal. If you create an environment where they feel safe and comfortable, they will be loyal to you to the end. Okay, so then we have our third group. Our third group are consultants who are really more like VIP customers. Okay, they're more like a glorified customer rather than a consultant. Okay, and so you want to give these people what they want. And what do they want? They want the products, and they want to feel like they're important. And possibly feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves, even if they're not actively engaged. And if they love the product and have access to the product and they're clear on their active status, and if they have great communication about what they want, which is mainly the product, and they feel valued and appreciated by you guys, oh my gosh, they'll never leave you. And again, over the years, can produce so much for your unit, okay, and can really lead you to other people. So again, love these people where they're at, give them what they want. And you want to give these three groups of people places to win. And here's a common pitfall is we're sometimes only giving our key ready right now people places to win. And we're forgetting to give middle people and our glorified customers places to win as well. And so you want to look at your programs and promotions and consider, does everyone have a place to play? And maybe only once or twice a year does she have a place to play. I'm not saying she has to have a place to play all the time, but you want to create places for her to win at least sometimes. And create an environment where she's recognized even when she doesn't do anything. So that's why you honor like everybody's birthday in the newsletter and everybody's anniversary. And anytime somebody orders, you thank them. And we have a We Are Family page in our unit newsletter where you're going to pop in a picture of her son who went to first grade or kindergarten for the first time. And you want to honor that and celebrate their family. Okay, that's a place for her to win. She gets a printed newsletter and sees a cute picture of her son that she knows the whole unit got, and that got honored and celebrated. That's a win for her. Not a scoreboard win, but a way that she got honored and recognized and felt loved, even though she's not a big player in your unit. Okay? And so then you also want to look at your promotions and programs and make sure they include selling and team building. Units can tend to be heavy on one and sort of maybe a little light or weak on the other one. And you want to create really strong selling and team building and to not be lopsided with that. You want your unit doing both. You also want to be strategic about timing in your communication about these programs and promotions. So like the week the lookbook drops, that's the week you're talking about customer follow-up and scripts and how to sell and how to promote products. That kind of communication is happening that week, maybe not necessarily heavy on team building that week because it's just not timely because the lookbook is dropping and that's a place where your middle people can play. They'll often send out the lookbook, so you want to equip them to do that follow-up. And make sure they feel supported. They don't want to hear about team building that week. They're not going to plug into that. Okay, so be timely in communication. Okay, so another common pitfall when communicating these programs and promotions is having a really pretty juicy flyer and a really pretty juicy prize and posting that, and then that's it. And thinking that the pretty flyer and the pretty prize is what's going to increase productivity and growth. And we know that it's not, but sometimes we just fall back on that because it's easy communication. but you've got to be the leader, leading the way with it, and having the one-on-one conversations and doing the follow-up and all the communication. Like once the flyer is posted, that's just the beginning of a lot of communication that comes after that, that's coming more in smaller groups at the meeting, one-on-one to your key people, one-on-one to your new people. Okay, common pitfall is just posting the flyer and thinking the masses are going to come and participate. No, the flyer is just the beginning that then is followed by lots of one-on-one and smaller group communication. Okay. So let's move on to unit programs. We've talked about these multiple times. I trust that you guys are familiar with them. So let's do kind of an overview. So if you have a piece of paper and you're taking notes, or maybe if you don't, if you're in a place where you're driving or on the go, you picture this big circle or draw a big circle. Okay. And then out of that big circle, you have a handful of arrows pointing away from the circle. Okay. And in the middle of that circle is your core program, like your mother program. And all other programs sort of branch off of this, off of your core program. And if you already have a core program, like, do not, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just run with your core program. You guys know by now that our core program is the Power Program. It used to be the Gen X program that Pam Shaw created. It's the very first thing that I learned in my Mary Kay business. And it was my secret to success, my path to run on, my formula that I just worked what was then called the Gen X program and is now called the Power Program. That's what I did. I just worked that Power Program. And it's the one thing, it's the core thing that is going to lead your consultants and directors to every other win on the scoreboard that she wants. Okay. It starts with a Power Program focus and learning and understanding how to work full circle and learning and understanding how to consistently and effectively be in the field in front of people. Okay. Everything else flows from that core program of the Power Program. And I've been pretty much obsessed with this program at all levels of the career path, from consultant to new director to top director to future NSD to now national sales director. It's been the core for my whole career. And there's no point in our career path where that is not like the core focus that initiates and generates growth. It is what got me into Red, DIQ, and promoted me in directorship, was the Power Program. And so one benefit of this program is that it really teaches your people to work full circle and to be productive in both sales and recruiting. It marries those, which then creates a unit that's both productive in sales and recruiting. You know, when we all love to have that, like your unit they're super strong sellers, they're super strong recruiters. Okay, the Power Program teaches people to do both. We eat, we sleep, we live, we breathe this program. It's our one thing that leads to all other things in our area. And so if it's the Power Program for you, great. If it's another program that's a different style of that, great. Our own Power Program has evolved and transformed and changed over the years and will continue to do so. You know, 5 years from now, we may be calling it something different. And, you know, it may be different parameters around it. It's never veered from our full circle focus of selling and recruiting. It's never veered from that. There's just, you know, different numbers, different levels, different things. Okay, but that stuff doesn't matter. It's the core concept of it that it leads people in working a full circle business at different levels they can play at, okay? So let me share with you how we made it a thing in our unit, okay? So how do you make the Power Program a thing? the first time my people hear about the Power Program from me directly, okay, bearing in mind it's on my website, it's in our newsletter. So it's everywhere she looks, she's going to see it, the flyer and a description. But the first time she's going to actually hear it from me would be new consultant training or a coaching conversation after her business debut, or a coaching conversation if she doesn't have a business debut and she's just starting to work on her perfect or power start. Okay. So those are the 3 times that I know all of my new consultants are going to hear about the Power Program. And I'm going to talk about the why behind it. I'm going to describe it. I'm going to point them to the flyer, the tracking sheet, make sure they know how they're rewarded, and talk about the benefits of the Power Program so that they have a working knowledge of what that is. And then we're going to talk about her goal. So are you up for the challenge? What time frame do you want to do your first perfect start or power start in? And that's really either after a debut or if she doesn't have a debut, that's like their first thing that they do. They hold their first power start in their first 30 days, which matches up for us right now as a P6. And then you work on training and coaching her on how to book that power start on the front end. We've always had a system for turning in numbers every week. You guys, when I was a new director, I would have to go to FedEx Kinko's and fax my darn piece of paper to Pam Shaw because that's how she wanted to receive it. And so she said jump and I said how high. So even at the inconvenience, the big inconvenience of having to drive there, because I didn't have a fax machine, because I didn't need a fax machine, because I could fax from my phone, you know. And eventually I did start doing that and didn't have to go to FedEx Kinko's anymore. But I turned in my numbers as a consultant and director. And then as a director, there were systems for my consultants to turn in their numbers. Now we just have a Google Doc form. God love the Google Doc forms. I mean, what did we do before those, right? I don't even know. No, I do know. People would scan their image of their tracking and my consultants would email it to me on Mondays by midnight. And then every Tuesday morning, I would pull up those emails and I would look at their sheets. I'd see what they're doing. I would follow up with them one-on-one. Anybody who turned it in, my assistant would get all these sheets. She would create a recognition email. And I would just dig into that and used that program, again, to develop my people. So now we have the Google Doc form. It's on a beautiful spreadsheet. Due on Mondays at midnight. We have a little recognition flyer that goes out for everybody who posts their numbers. And it's a consistent thing that's recognized each week. What you recognize will grow. What you recognize, people will do what is affirmed and recognized. And then at every meeting and big event, it's recognized. We would recognize just standing recognition for who's on target for a power program level. Often our big events are connected to power program consistency. So at Fall Advance, we recognize people who did a 3-month consistency. At January Jumpstart, we recognize a 2 to 3 month consistency at a power program level. We do that at Career Conference, we do it at Seminar. And so now that's recognizing even the more elite people who are not just doing it 1 month here and there, but they're consistently cranking out a power program level. And gives them a stage and a platform. As a director, I did what we call Gen X Girls Nights Out. Okay, these were magic. Magic, you guys. I think I've told you the story about them before. I don't know where I first had the idea. I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a long time. I don't think it was an original thought, though. I think I learned it from someone, but I don't know who. But I made it a freaking thing. Like, it was a thing. And I believe created so much team spirit, camaraderie, memories, relationships, connections, fun times, laughs. that it was a part of us finishing the trip, because it created these moments where we were just girlfriends, and where people would get to know each other, where people would get plugged in, where we'd create memories, we'd take pictures. I have photo albums and photo albums of Gen X Girls Nights Out. I used to print my pictures back in the day. Like every picture I would take got printed. If I kept doing that, I'd have to buy another house for all my photo albums, because I already have a ridiculous amount of photo albums. But I'll scroll through them sometimes just to see the fun memories and the fun times that we had. And so, but it started out with one person earning it. My very first Gen X Girls Night Out as a new director, one person earned it. Jessie Harper is her name. And Jessie and I think, I don't even know what we did. I don't know. The next month, Jessie earned it again, and Winetta Hartman earned it. Winetta is Jessie's mom. So me and Jessie's mom, I don't know what we did. I think we went out to dinner, something. And so it didn't start off magical. Although I love that intimate one-on-one time with those people in my unit at that time, but it wasn't something magical, but it grew into something magical because I did it consistently. And these types of things don't catch on right away. Usually, sometimes you hit just this magical thing, this magical moment in time, and things do catch on and grows like wildfire right away. But typically you have to like work and work and work and work at something and prime the pump and prime the pump and prime the pump with no water coming out, and you prime it and you prime it and you prime it and you prime it, and then things begin to flow. And so I think a common pitfall with events like these is that you try it for a month or 2 or 3 and it didn't catch on, and you decide it's not worth your time. And so you stop and you think, I'll plan it when people can come. And I believe we build it. So we build it and then consistently work it, and then the people will come. And I believe that successful people do consistently what other people do occasionally. Okay? So I did not occasionally do Gen X Girls Nights Out. I didn't just do it when I had lots of key people in a big unit to pull from. I did it every month for probably 5 or 6 years in a row. And I'm telling you, every month we did it. Rain or shine, no matter what was happening, there was a Gen X Girls Night Out planned and promoted, and cute invitations sent out for the achievers, and fun ideas planned out in advance and time blocked on my calendar, even when I felt like I didn't have the time to give. It was just consistent. And I went to the trouble. That's the other thing too. Like, it was just a big hassle, a fun hassle, but a big time consumer, and something that, you know, didn't necessarily impact the bottom line or growth. People weren't selling and recruiting at this event. But it created that intangible thing that you want to have in your unit, which is an environment where the door is closed and people are sitting there around the table and they're happy to be there and they want to be there and they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And for me, now, I'm not saying, you could talk to other national sales directors who never did a Gen X Girls Nights Out or Power Program Night Out. So I'm not saying this is the only way. You guys, this is just one thing that was really magic for my unit. And it was always low cost. Gen X, so Perfect Start achievers would pay their own way, and I would always pay for Gen X Elite, which was a Power Start level. But it was always a low cost, not a burdensome cost, if a cost at all. Sometimes it was free. And we would just do, I don't know, anything. Don't get caught up on the things that you do. I mean, go to coffee. Go out and get coffee. Go shopping. Go to a movie. Have a movie and popcorn night. Go get manicures and pedicures. It doesn't matter. Go plug into local parks or events. Or I remember at Christmas we would like drive through the in the Cincinnati area, and they have this park with beautiful Christmas lights. We'd all load up in the car, get a Starbucks coffee, and we would just drive through the lights to celebrate the season. And we would just laugh and joke and have fun. So it doesn't matter what you do. Eventually we had an ongoing list. People would have ideas like, oh, let's go do this for Gen X Girls Night Out. And I had this just big, long list that I could pull from each month, that when I created the new event, I would have a list of ideas to pull from. So it really helped Gen X be a thing for us. And it was a thing. It was a thing that created a lot of growth and energy. Of course, we featured achievers in the website and in the newsletter. I sent out on-target emails mid-month. I would just look to see who was on target for their wholesale for different levels. And I would email her that she's on target for the wholesale. Didn't matter if she hadn't done any faces or career surveys. Hey, she was on target for her wholesale. So let's get the faces and career surveys in. I did one-on-one coaching, and that often happened after people turned their numbers in. I was often coaching them later that week just on their numbers and what was coming up, what they felt like they were on target for. We often did a 6-month consistency trip. My area is actually going to Brown County, Indiana, this cute little kind of quaint touristy area in Indiana, and we're having a cabin girlfriends getaway weekend. And part of the qualifications was a 6-month power program consistency. I wouldn't know how to do Mary Kay if I didn't have the power program. I would be lost. I would fire myself as an NSD if I didn't have the power program, because I wouldn't know how to work the business. Like, it's just such a core part of how we roll. Okay. And so whether it's a power program for you or something else, having that core program is just got to be a thing for you. Okay. So then STAR program was another big thing. Of course, that's a company promotion, but we really made it a thing for our unit. And the power program supports the STAR consultant program. They do go hand in hand. The power or the STAR program is like the selling side of the power program. And so we did quarterly outings for our stars. Those became a thing, very similar to our Gen X Girls Nights Out. They would just be fun experiences that we would do. You guys, I have a series on how to build stars in your unit that I'm going to post in our group, Star Voxer series. I'll post all of them. There may be like 10-ish 5 to 7 minute Voxer messages that if you're really wanting to dig into this program, that could support you in really making the STAR program a thing for you. So I'll give you just a couple ideas here just to cover this, but then I go way more in depth. We could do a whole hangout on the STAR consultant program alone. So I'm just going to touch a few things here. So we did the quarterly outings. And the thing with the quarterly outings is, like, on the first day of the new quarter, it would already be set, flyer made, ready to go on the website. Like, it was in motion. And a common pitfall is like waiting halfway through the month or waiting till the end, or even worse, and I've done this, you guys. The quarter ends and then you plan the STAR consultant outing. I've been there, done that. But then, you know, it like you never got to use it as a way to build stars. You know, yes, it's a celebration for your current stars, and that's great. We always want to recognize and reward our current stars, but you also want to use it as a tool to build stars. I mean, I remember welcome orientations with new consultants, and I would tell them about the power or the STAR outing, and they wanted to be a star so they could go to this or that place with us because it sounded fun. Okay. Do you want to use it as a tool to build and grow stars? I would often do a STAR blitz. Okay. A STAR blitz in the first 7 days of the month that the quarter ended. So our quarter is about to end on March 15th. So the STAR blitz would be like the 1st through the 7th. And I would start it off with like I used to do conference calls, but now it would be a Zoom hangout, where it'd be like a state of the unit address, announce all the new products, do some recognition, and then provide the information for the STAR Blitz. And all a STAR Blitz is a new selling challenge on every new day for 7 days. And every new day, there's just a new challenge. And people can do all of them, or one of them, doesn't matter. You're just providing the tools, the resources, the scripts, the images, everything they need to do a satin hands challenge, or do a 24 and 24, or do $1,000 day, or do whatever. And then you're recognizing just what people are doing each day and celebrating them. This gives a lot of people a place to win, because I would make it very clear that, hey, this is a way to finish your star. But if you don't care about finishing your star, this is just a way to sell more this week, or to follow up with your customers. So everybody in the unit had a place to play with this Star Blitz. And so we would do that. I wouldn't do that every quarter, maybe twice a year. I would do a Star Blitz. And then, I love these on-target star receptions. So 2 times during the quarter, we'd have an on-target star reception. 4 weeks into the quarter for anyone who had 600 wholesale or higher. And then 8 weeks into the quarter, anyone who had 1,200 wholesale or higher. And then when the quarter ended, that meeting, we're celebrating all the stars. And we would rotate through that same thing. And you guys, it was the most simple event I've ever done. It would just be for 30 minutes before the meeting. We had a separate room. People would come early. I'd have yummy snacks. Sometimes I'd bring a bottle of champagne, and everybody got like a little splash. And we would just eat and take pictures and like hang out and laugh together. There was nothing more to it. I didn't train them. I didn't talk to them besides just, mingling conversations. There's nothing else to it except a fun little reception and fun pictures. And then they got recognized when the meeting started as being able to come to the reception. And so that gave me a reason to get people on target, because once people have that on target status, they don't want to lose that on target status. They're like, oh, I'm on target. I'm going to keep going. And so it just created a lot of energy around the Star Consultant program. So now with the You Hold the Key, you could have those receptions, because the You Hold the Key, of course, supports the STAR program. Okay, so those are some core ones. And then, those arrows that you had coming off of the big round circle with your core program. Let's talk about some of those supporting programs. Book 10 by the 5th was a big one. We did that in Pam Shaw's area. It was Book 10 in Gen X and Move Up in Red. Those were like her core programs that are now my area core programs with a couple other supplementary programs. But it was Book 10, Gen X, Move Up in Red. Everybody was super clear on what was recognized. And every month she would do a conference call, and she would read every name in her area who did a Book 10, a Gen X level, and moved up in red. And I would like get on that call and just like wait for the moment when she announced my name. Isn't that funny, the power of social recognition? I was a top trip director waiting for Pam Shaw to say my name for doing Gen X or a Book 10. And so we do that now in my area. We do it on Facebook Live once a month. Once all the reports close out, I get on Facebook Live in my area group, and we announce all of our Power Program achievers, all of our Book 10 achievers, everybody who moved up in red, and then we recognize some wins in these supplemental programs that I'm about to go over. And then, so besides Book 10, Century Club is one that we have. It's a program that recognizes consultants for their reorders. So no new orders can be counted, but whenever a consultant gets a reorder of $50 or more, it counts as one of her Century Club customers, and the goal is to build up to 100 for the year. And so we start recognition at 10, and then moves up to 20, 30, 40, and it tracks the fun names that we use for unit size. So it's like Tenacious 10, something 20s, flirty 30s, fun 40s, fabulous 50s, and goes on up to 100. And so that gives people, it's one of those things that helps our key people really build a loyal customer base. So it supports key people and working people. But then the middle people, they have a fun place to win that focuses on selling and customer service and customer loyalty and customer follow-up. And they can really develop those skills and win without team building if they don't want to, okay? Then we have a court month. That's what it's called, have a court month. It is our one program that focuses on the national courts. And so we have an area court and then a national court, and we do monthly recognition for that. And then one of my directors last spring had this idea, and we now have a focus workbook. I love this thing. I love this focus workbook. I'm writing it down to post it in our group. Actually, I think it's in the announcements, pin post. The focus workbook is every flyer for every program we have in our area, and then tracking for all of them just in one place. And so the idea is that in the new seminar year, they would print that off and it would be their tracking kind of brain book binder for them. And we'll update it. We'll update a new one for this new seminar year when we hit the new seminar year in July. And learn to how important branding is for your flyers. And so all flyers for a seminar year will have the same look, the same style, the same color scheme, the same branding, because I feel like that just helps people's brains versus a lot of styles, a lot of different colors kind of all over the place. Like we have consistent branding with all of our area programs that has a new, fresh, updated look every seminar year. Okay, so let me finish with a few thoughts, okay? And one of the thoughts is like, what if something just isn't working and it's legitimately just not a good investment of time, or how do you know when to pivot? Okay, let's address some of those questions. First, I think you have to at least give it 90 days. I mean, sometimes even a full year, but Lord have mercy, at least 90 days to even really work out the kinks for a new program, because things just take time. And I don't think sometimes we give it the time that it needs, and not only give it the time, but like really give it your all in those 90 days. Okay, again, not just post the flyer in the beginning of the month and think people are going to come flocking. It's post the flyer and then do all the follow-up communication that comes after that. And so give it at least 90 days and like give it your all for 90 days, like obsess over it so that it can catch on. Now, if you give it 90 days or more and it's not working or it's not flowing or maybe not a thing, then maybe you consider pivoting, but we've got to give things time to grow. There's nothing I have ever done that took off immediately. Nothing. As a director, now as a national sales director, nothing takes off right away. Everything has taken time to grow, and a lot of communication and a lot of work and a lot of grit to help it to grow. Okay, so it's just life. I think it's important to be in the rhythm of reevaluating every 90 days. That's how the whole brain book is outlined. It's outlined to get you into a 90-day rhythm where you goal set and crunch numbers for a new, fresh 90 days, and then you work that plan for 90 days without really reevaluating. And then you don't really reevaluate or come back up for air until those 90 days are done. So we're about to finish a 90-day cycle, and a new one's going to start on April 1st. And April, May, and June will take us to the end of the seminar year. And so ideally, what I hope happened is that you set a plan on January 1st for a 90-day sprint, and you're just working out that plan. And then you reevaluate things on April 1st, and you see where you're at, and you recrunch your numbers and evaluate your programs, and you make a new plan to sprint for 90 days. On my first top director trip to Munich, Germany, I sat with Sean Key at a table at our welcome dinner, and I asked him a question. I said, what's the difference between a trip director and $1 million director? Like both uber successful people, like what's the difference between those? And his answer, I will always remember, he said, leaders who lead at a higher level just know when to pivot to create a quantum leap. And they pivot in a timely manner, and they're intentional enough about their business that they're pivoting at key moments. So a good example of this would be, let's say you have a hotshot DIQ who's creating a lot of energy in your unit. A lot of directors, I see this happen time and time again. A lot of directors don't shift into beast mode personal business until that director has left her unit and has debuted. Then she's like, oh crap, I need to start working my personal business at a higher level. And yeah, it's never too late. But that pivot would have served her so much better 90 days before. When that DIQ was killing it, she as a leader is intentional enough about her business that she's like, yep, let me pivot into me double timing it. And I'm going to double time it while she's killing it. And we're going to create not just momentum, but massive momentum together because we're both killing it. Okay? So you got to know when to make those shifts. Okay? And so when you're looking at your programs and your promotions, it's being mindful and evaluating what's happening in your unit and knowing when to make appropriate shifts and changes. So here, let me finish with a couple of questions for you to really look at the programs and promotions in your unit. Here are some questions I want to ask you. What are you investing your time in that you're not getting a return on? And that could be a question to apply to your personal business and to any unit work that you do. Where is a time investment happening that you're getting little to no return on? And what's a good solution? Next question. What have you been creatively avoiding that you know you need to start, and when you do start it, it will change things for the better? Creatively avoiding. Pretending not to know. Knowing but not doing, which is like not knowing at all. What comes to mind that you know when you really commit to that, it would create a shift? Next question. What's working that you could maximize? Like, what are you investing your time in that's really creating growth and productivity that you could just sink your teeth into it harder and stronger and faster? And maximize it and just get it for all it's worth. And then along the same lines, what's effective right now that you just need to continue on and stay consistent with? Remember, successful people do just consistently what others do occasionally. Successful people are just willing to plod. They just keep plodding week in, week out, week in, week out, week in, week out. Doesn't matter what's going on. They just plod, they plod on. So what's effective that you can just have a deeper commitment to stay the course on and to continue? I think we all have those moments where we're doing something that's working, and then for whatever reason we stop doing it. And then 3 months later, we look back and you're like, why did I ever stop that? That was really good. That was working. Why did I stop doing that? So let's be mindful of the things that are effective and commit to continue them. Okay? All right, you guys, programs that develop people, not just leaders, people, because we have a heart for women, for all women who come into our organization, that they would grow into the highest and best versions of themselves, and they would be better just for coming in, and they want to stay in that warm, safe environment. Okay, love you guys. See you next week.